Okay, I think we're live. Welcome everybody to round 2 in our APAC division. We're here at Baku a bit earlier than usual because of the change in starting time of the real F1 qualifying session. Starting half an hour earlier today so that all drivers and you guys watching will be able to watch all of qualifying live as well. So round 2 here on the streets of Azerbaijan. I'm on my own for now. So after last week we have Ural Kramp, our championship leader, here once again. Biggest championship rivals, Joseph Lai and Plebs also present. Sadly enough, our reigning champion G4 Swaggy for second week in a row is missing. So of course that's a shame. For people like Kramp and Joseph Lai, it will be music to their ears, seeing that one of the quickest drivers in this division is absent, meaning bigger chances for them to pick up the podium positions and maybe even the win. Of course, around Baku, it's important to keep it clean, keep your car in one piece and make it to the end. And most of the times you'll end up in a pretty high position anyways, regardless of your pace. So yeah, still more than 15 minutes to go in this qualifying session. At the moment only 13 drivers present. We are hoping to have some more join later throughout quali before the race starts. So yeah, just looking at first runs right now on board with Joseph Lai. Runs a bit wide at the exit of the castle section, but still keeps his lap valid. Second sector, a 114.5. So now rounds the final official corner on the track, which really isn't a corner, and along the incredibly long finish straight to record the first lap time of the day, a 1:38.5. Pole time will probably be around a second quicker than this lap time put in by Joseph Lai. Expecting to see mid to low 37s. If you do that, you'll be in with a good shout of pole position. So looking at who's next to cross the line, Toddy at the moment on a run on the medium tires. Weirdo invalidated his first lap. He'll give it a go again as Cobalt Redemption fits in to second place at the moment. I think BPV8, another driver who impressed last weekend in Bahrain, will be the second to put in a competitive lap time. As he just about slots into P2, only a couple of hundreds behind Joseph Lai. With Carson next, coming up to the line, and he goes into P3, 139.2. So yeah, it's so looking sunny right now, as Diano will start his first flying lap. Weirdo this time around keeps his lap time valid up until the end of sector 2. 14.4 competitive second sector time. Now flat out through 17, 18 and 19 onto the back straight and towards the finish line. As Ural Kramp goes quickest of all at a 1:38.102. As we have Weirdo coming up the line and slotting into second place behind Kramp, a 38.4. First runs now being completed. Right on board with the McLaren of Diano. Last weekend qualifying was a session to forget for both McLarens. Started from the back row of the grid, but they made their way through the chaos of the race, finished P5 and P6. Good start for the team in terms of the constructors. Both drivers happy to get some early points on the board, of course. And now we're hoping if they can put their qualifying together to finish even higher up today. As Diano comes up to the line and goes P6 with a 39.3. I don't think anyone is on a push lap right now. Maybe Shush in the Red Bull, reserved for today, replacing Jay Wilco, who sadly enough couldn't make it, with Zunguman right behind him on track. Shush on the mediums, 17.5, some 3 seconds of the pace of the front runners. Also here in qualifying it's important to just get a lap in, get a reference point, and then push on from there. Shush goes slowest of all with a 141.9, but Zunguman goes even slower, 142. Still a lot of room for improvement for those drivers in terms of lap time. It's still plenty of time to go in the session. Of course it's a fairly long lap, 138, one of the longest lap times on the calendar, so not many runs possible, of course, considering in and out laps on lower fuel as well. So we'll probably see a maximum of 3 runs per driver if they really can do. Toddy once again on the medium tires, going for another time. We of course don't know yet if the race will be fully dry or if there will be some rain halfway through, as we saw Toddy coming out of turn 3 with a snap of oversteer. Now coming up to turn 5 and 6. Tricky chicane, don't mount the curb on the exit too high as he once again loses the back end. Just about keeps it out of the wall. Now into turn 7, make sure don't cut the track right here. Now up to the trickiest corner of the circuit, the castle section, turn 8. Flat out up the hill and another chicane. Keeps away from that high curve. 16.2 middle sector split. Now to the last proper corner on the circuit. Now just foot to the floor. Through 718, brushes the wall slightly. That won't help his lap time, of course. Activating the RS and up towards the line to put in his first lap of the day. Goes P8. Highest of the medium runners so far, half a second quicker than Shush on the same amount of tires. And we missed Joseph Lai going 1:37.7, putting in the quickest time of the session so far. First driver to go into those 1:37s, about which I spoke earlier. You'll be aiming for that if you want to be somewhere near the front of the grid. And Joseph Lai put in 1:37.7, 3.5 tenths quicker than your rock ramp at the moment. So you have BP on a second flyer as well. just a couple of thousand slower through the first sector. Crushes the wall on the exit of 7, now into 8. Close to the wall, as close as you can. Through 11 and 12. Tentative. And it looks like he's backing off, and indeed he is. Not happy with his lap. Plefs and BJ at the moment still in the pits, not setting a lap time so far. Let's go on board with Carson through the castle section as well. Really close to the wall there. And again through 11, a bit, misses the apex a bit in 12, but still carries on. Into turn 15, avoids the curb on the inside, and this looks like a very competitive lap time, 3/10 quicker than his previous best. Wouldn't put him any positions higher up the grid, but it will improve his lap time and consolidate that 5th place he has at the moment. As he approaches the arrest zone, opens it. Up to the line he goes. It will be 1:38.921, improves by 3/10, but stays 5th fastest. And he should have time to make it back to the pits and go out for one final run. As we see Plebs now going out of the pits as well. Runner up to Ural Cramp in Bahrain, hoping for a repeat of that result again, maybe even slightly bit better. And as I said, will be important to avoid all chaos, because I can assure you that chaos will be happening. And despite only having 13 cars on the grid at the moment, there will be plenty of people who will be chipping off bits of their front wing, or maybe even smashing off their front or rear tires. So yeah, just making sure to keep consistent, keep out of the barriers, and at the end of the day that will probably award you with some nice amount of points. Diano just finished his lap, I think. Just went a couple hundred slower than Carson, now into P6. As Weirdo has slotted into 2nd place, only less than a 10th behind Joseph Light for now. Cramp on his outlap as well, as we'll prepare for the final runs to start. Cobalt Redemption, a couple of thousands up through his first sector time. Let's see what he can do through the 2nd sector. As I'll quickly invite a driver who couldn't make the start of qualifying. As Joseph Lai improves his lap time once again. Cobalt Redemption improves by almost 3/10, but stays in 8th place at the moment. Tunguman almost 2/10 up through the first sector, as his teammate will start his flying lap any moment now. Keeps it well within the track limits, maybe a bit too much in the track limits, not using the full width of the exit of turn 12 there. coming up to the second sector split. 1.2 seconds up on his time. That should put him around the same lap time as Shush has done so far. First this lap of Tungelman, 1:41, he stays in the 1:41s. Still the slowest at the moment of all people who set a lap time, as Ashley improves by 8.5 tenths. But that's not enough to put him any positions higher up the grid, as we now have Shush improving by 6 tenths, putting him up to P8, just ahead of Cobalt Redemption. Will be next to cross the line, but I don't think he'll be improving. Cramp, almost a 10 up through the first sector. Oh, and he smashes it into the wall at the same place his real life teammate counterpart Charles Leclerc did. And this isn't good. Oh no, 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 no. Zungelman smashes into him, and that's qualifying over for Ural Cramp. Won't be a second pole position in a row, as he makes a mistake at the infamous castle section. Painful as it is, that's qualifying over for him, and he won't improve on his third place at the moment. And Plevs didn't make it. Plevs didn't make the checkered flag, and he won't set a lap time. I don't know what happened there, but he didn't make the checkered flag, and that's a bit of a blow for him. BP is still on a lap. I think he's the only one still on a lap, as Ashley and Shush might be improving, not sure. We'll stick with him for a bit to see if he can improve on that 140.2. And he does, but it's not enough to improve his position on the grid. As we now see BP up by 4 tenths of a second, and he will be threatening the third place of Ural Cramp if he can keep it out of the wall through the fast corners 17, 18. Up to the line. And BP goes into P3, pushes Cramp 1 position down more, and both Hasses in the top 3 at the moment. And I think that's all laps done. So that's it, that's the end of this qualifying session. And we have Ural Joseph Lai on pole position with a 137.734. Less than a tenth behind him is L30 Weirdo in the Haas. Good qualifying session for him, as BP improves on his final run to go P3 ahead of Ural Cramp, who crashes at the castle session on his final run. Carson will start in P5 ahead of Diano. Fourth row will be Ashley and Shush, with Cobalt, Redemption and Toddy Rumble completing the top 10, and Zungelman the last to set a lap time in front of Plebs, who just missed the cut on the last one, and BJ in P13. So not sure if any more drivers will be able to join now that qualifying is over. as the cars are now lining up on the grid for the formation lap. It's quite overcast at the moment, and as of course all drivers in the top 10 required to start on the tires they qualified on. So top 9 on the softs, with Toddy in P10 on the mediums he qualified on, with Zumberman and Plevs also opting for the mediums, and BJ the only one on the hards. As Joseph Lai is already quite far along the straight, so he'll be sitting on the grid for quite some time. As the cars now make their way along the straight towards their grid positions, preparing for the start of round 2 here in the APAC division. So all cars lined up now as we go to 5 red lights, and when they go out we'll probably wait a bit and then they'll go, or not. No, we'll just go straight away as the 5 lights are out and we're on the way for round 2. Good start from BP as he was already past his teammate Cramp, still in 4th place, pressurizing the Hess driver, Diano up the inside of Carson, as we have Shush and Ashley also side by side. Ashley keeping ahead of the Red Bull for now. Toddy has already been overtaken by Plebs, who's made a great start and is already alongside Cobalt Redemption. Oh, and there's a spin from Carson. Plebs just about avoids it. And all cars make it through, it seems. Maybe Carson has a bit of damage, I'm not sure. But as they enter the castle section for the first time, Joseph Lai is still in the lead in front of now BP, as Weirdo has been overtaken by his teammate, down to 3rd. Cramp in P4, Diano now in P5 after that spin from Carson. Shush has gotten back past Ashley and now is in P6, with Plebs making a great start from 12th place up to 8th, ahead of Toddy Rumble and Cobalt Redemption. Then it's BJ, Carson after that spin down to 12th, and Zumberman at the moment in last position, as Cobalt has been overtaken by BJ at turn 15, and now Carson gets past his teammate as well. As we go along the long back straight for the first time, and BP has got a great slipstream on the racing point of Joseph Lai, going on to lap 2. And he'll send one down the inside. Can they keep it clean? Joseph pushed off the track a bit. And now Weirdo is alongside him as well. and Joseph Lai loses 2 positions in the span of 2 corners. Can he fight back on the Haas driver? Doesn't seem like it, as Cramp makes an early pit stop after lap 1, switches to the medium tires. Not sure if he had damage after that first lap or not, but he'll be in last place now, as BP has taken over the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it's now a Haas 1-2, with Diano falling behind a bit already in P4, and Shush holding up a train of a number of drivers, as Plevs makes a double dive bomb into turn 7. This can't go well, and it doesn't, as his teammate Shush loses out not only to his own teammate but also to Ashley. Ferrari driver now up into 6th place again, and Shush down to 7, now under pressure from Toddy, with Carson right behind, trying to recover from that spin on lap 1, and he makes a move down into turn 15, but it's the wall on the exit, and it doesn't seem like Toddy can capitalize on that, but it does seem that Carson has a bit of damage on his front right wing end plate. And we have a virtual safety car. I'm not sure what that's for. I was just inviting someone back into the session, and some drivers will make use of that virtual safety car to switch tires. Diano also switches his front wing. Carson in as well, as is Diano's teammate Toddy, who will have to wait a bit for the pit crew to get ready for him. Also a new front wing for Toddy, who seems to have picked up damage at the same place Carson did. Carson switches to the medium tires, as Cram just behind Shush. And Zungerman picks up a drive-through penalty, going too fast and speeding under the safety car at the virtual safety car restart. And Weirdo has been sleeping a bit, as Joseph Lai is right on his tail. BP already a 1.2 second gap now to his teammate, and he'll try to consolidate that and move clear into the lead, another way into the distance. Plebs already up into 4th place, of course being helped a bit by the fact that some people have made their first stop under that virtual safety car, but from 12th place on the grid we can't say that's a bad start. As Cramp now behind Shush, who's come out on fresh hearts, and Carson behind them. Toddy now down into last place. Okay, we're back. Cramp in the meantime has gotten past Shush, now up into 9th place. Still in a decent position, not always lost after that lap 1 pit stop by Cramp. Now 2 seconds behind Diano, who's in turn 1 second behind BJ, who left the session again and will be overtaken now. Zungerman in the meantime has served his drive-through and now is 12th. Toddy, I think, has made another pit stop, as the front three still chasing each other. as BP and Weirdo switch fastest laps. Cobalt Redemption into the pits. This seems like a regular pit stop, but it's a quite early one after just 4 laps on the softs. Yeah, no front wing change, just a tire switch onto the medium tires. As I think I have my co-commentator with me now as well.
Hello, how are you, buddy? I'm a little bit late, but that's what happens when you are working so hard in life. But hope you're fine. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Race already on lap 5, so the guys started without you, and I think they did pretty well. So yeah, just I'll take you through the grid. We have a Haas 1-2 at the moment. Joseph Lai started from pole and he is now down to 3rd place after being overtaken by the pair of them, as we have a virtual safety car right now as Ashley has retired. So that maybe gives us a bit of more time to go through what happened so far. As you can see, a bit of an emptier grid than we maybe would have liked. Maybe that's because of the earlier starting time as well. And it seems like a very odd place for Ashley to have crashed, as he is right in the middle of the track. And BJ, oh, that's not good to see. I think BJ's AI just crashed into Ashley. So a bit of chaos as we get going again, but yeah. The front 3 quite a bit ahead of the rest of the pack, and yeah, as I said earlier before you were here, already a lot of chaos as you would expect around Baku.
Of course, it's a very hard track to overtake. There's the highest straight, I think it's the longest straight Formula 1 season last year, where we had this amazing overtake opportunity with those DRS. But I believe so that Baku is a race that you need to be really aware of the walls, because if you take a little bit of corner more wide than it's supposed to be, then you are going to damage your wing, and you will definitely have to change your strategy, because you can't even have that little bit of wing damage on the left plate or the right plate, because you will lose a lot of time and downforce. So I believe so that these drivers, they don't need to have any error tonight, or this morning if you're in Europe. But yes, I believe so that it's a good race right now, going on lap 7.
Yeah, we already saw quite some drivers into the pits to change their front wing, as we now have the front 3 all in at the same time, and Haas will be double stacking, and that will hurt Weirdo, as he was the second car to be served, as Joseph has jumped him and now is in a virtual 2nd place. So that's a bit weird to see, both Haas drivers coming in at the same time, but Weirdo still out ahead of Diano, but losing out a bit on the front 2 now.
We have a very good battle as well between Cramp and Diano. This is a good battle because Cramp now can use his DRS to overtake him, but it seems that Diano is using his DRS. It's a track also like the one before, like Bahrain. If you use a lot of DRS in the beginning, it's very hard to get back the DRS, so you need to be a little bit more cautious on it.
Yeah, exactly. We also have a battle a bit behind Cramp and Diano for P7, as Carson has come up right to the back of Shush. Shush, I think, has picked up a drive-through penalty at the last virtual safety car, so He will have to serve that one in the coming laps. But right now he's doing a great job of holding up both Williams cars.
This is a very good race between both drivers, and they're so close together. I don't know how was qualifying, but I believe so. They were close also in the timing laps of the qualifying.
Yeah, I think the top 5 were really close, and that's...
We had Shush that he hit his, let's say, left wing, I think?
I think the right hand side of his wing, yeah.
Yes, it's right wing. And he's on a slower tire because he's on the hard, and he's finding it so hard to turn around right now because we have also the damage. But it's a very good opportunity now on Carson and Koval to get the DRS overtake. I think he's going to the pits. No, he doesn't go to the pits. Shush.
Yeah, and now he'll be overtaken by not one but 2 Williams cars as they brake for turn 1. That was a bit opportunistic with the wing damage to go for the move on Carson again. Luckily only minor contact was made, no one spins around.
He doesn't have any ERS also, and also Koval, he doesn't have ERS, but Carson on the other hand, he's also without any ERS, so they're using all their ERS in lap 8, and this is not nice to see as well, because these drivers, they need to catch the drivers in front. Now Carson is around 11 seconds away from Deando, so it's going to be a little bit of a hard battle to reach also.
Yeah.
Oh, we see Deando just hit the wall and near the castle. I don't know if he have any damage, but it seems that he lost a lot of time also.
I just switched to him indeed. I don't think he has major damage on his front wing. Both end plates are still attached to the front wing. But as you said, he lost a lot of time to Cramp and the cars in front, and also to Carson behind him. As Cobalt, oh my god, that was really unfortunate. I don't know what happened there. I just got onto it at the moment.
He tried to turn around, but in fact, because you have a damaged wing, you will not manage to turn around like that. You know?
He just understeered into the wall.
Of course.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And we have another virtual safety car, so no full safety car. And Joseph Lai now picks up a drive-through penalty. Oh, that will really hurt his chances of winning this race, as he is already 5 seconds behind BP, the virtual leader of this race, and now he'll have to come into the pits in the next 3 laps to serve the drive-through. So already 3 drive-through penalties from 3 virtual safety cars. So the drivers really pushing the limits and pushing it a bit too far on their deltas at the safety car restarts.
You need to be really aware and not to catch the delta on the red side, because you will end up definitely losing a lot of pace, and also when you go into the pits you're losing a lot of time. When you go into this pits in Baku, you lose more time than other pits because it's a little bit of a long pits, and also when you go out of the track it's a little bit of a slow start as well.
Yeah, and it's a bit awkward as well as you come out on the inside of turn 2, and yeah, that line you get when you come out of the pits, it's a bit tighter. And I also see that Joseph has picked up some front wing damage as well, so not
seems like it.
Not the race our pole sitter would have wanted. Of course, qualifying on pole is one thing, but keeping your car intact and picking up no penalties in the race is a whole other story, as Joseph has showed here, as he will dive into the pits to serve his drive-through.
So will he serve the drive-through or change his wing? Let's check.
And he passes his pit box.
Like it's a drive-through.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now he'll go out again, and now the question is, will he box the next lap to change that front wing, or will he carry on with the damage that he's got, as he's now down to P6, some 7 seconds ahead of Williams of Carson. who is on older
drivers
tires.
need to be aware also that if there's a safety car, it's a game changer as well, because who have damage weak, they can get into the pits, but you don't need to depend much on that safety car, because if you don't have a safety car in this race, you will end up definitely racing with that damage wing, and you will lose a lot of time.
Yeah. One guy who hasn't made a pit stop yet, and I think he's the only one yet to make a pit stop, is our race leader. Plebs started in P12 after just missing the checkered flag at the end of qualifying to set a lap time. So had to start down the grid a bit, made up some places on the opening lap, and now is leading the race. And with quite some margin to the cars behind. And I think he'll come out around P3, P4 once he makes his pit stop, so it's looking very good for Plebs at the moment.
Seems like it. And also I'm seeing Total Rumble, which he did already a pit stop. He have very good pace right now, reaching also the guy in front, which he didn't pit yet, started on those medium tires. I think medium tires now it will be the good opportunity to take those hards the next lap, I think, or maybe this lap.
Yeah, as we see Joseph Lai box for the second time in as many laps, and I suppose that's now to change that front wing of his, and he'll drop probably towards the back of the grid as he switches to medium tires.
So he's going to end the race with those medium tires, I guess, because now it's 14 laps remaining.
Yeah, he should be able to make it to the end. I don't think tire wear is that high around Baku, but yeah, not the race our pole sitter would have wanted for sure. As Plebs is keeping up a decent pace on his now 10 lap old medium tires, only losing a couple of tenths per lap to BP and P2.
But
so yeah,
also
as you
now
said,
Plebs is going to have a tire advantage.
Yeah, he'll probably be pitting in the next couple of laps, suggesting or suspecting he'll be on a one stop, and he'll just switch to the hard tires to finish the race. As
so the guys
Weirdo
who made already a pit stop, they're going to have a two stop. In fact, I think that Joseph Lai now, he's going to end that race with those mediums, so he still have a little bit of advantage to gain on his rivals, because I think that there will be around 20 seconds now for the next pit stop.
Yeah, I think most of the drivers will have to make a second pit stop indeed. Maybe the guy in P3 is looking very handy indeed, as he is on just 4 lap old hard tires. So he should be able to make it towards the end without any further switch of tires, but as far as the other driver is concerned, they'll probably have to box again in the next couple of laps.
And we also need to mention that Prem have 3 seconds penalties already.
Yeah, he just picked it up. Cramp.
So the Ferrari guy right now, we have a lot of missing drivers today.
Yeah. I think that's mainly because of the changing starting time. I think 2 drivers just missed the cut after qualifying ended, so they couldn't join anymore. But yeah, let's hope it's a one-off thing, and next week we will have a fuller grid again.
Yeah, this is because also the Formula 1 they changed their times, so
yeah.
definitely it
As
won't happen again, I think, from Formula 1 side as well.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
I'm watching BP, he have a very good pace around this track.
Yeah, he's catching Plebs at the moment, and Weirdo now making, I'd say, a pretty unexpected pit stop, but it's for a front wing change, so I just said he probably wouldn't have to make another stop again, and the next lap he is in, so proving me wrong there. Switching to the medium tires and getting a new front wing, as Diano does exactly the same thing. And also Carson now into the pits to make his second stop of this race.
Carson have 3 seconds of penalties, and also Joseph Eli, he just picked a 3-second penalty. With that drive-through penalty and 3-second penalty, now he's in a little bit of a disadvantage.
Joseph Lai is catching Toddy Rumble, who has been on his hard tires for the last 9 laps. Interesting choice by Weirdo, but seeing that he changed his front wing, it's probably the best thing to do. You don't want to be driving with half a front wing around this track, as then one tiny mistake could cost you even more of your front wing, as the lack of downforce will definitely impact you. And Plaz is still going along on the same set of medium tires he started on, now 13 laps completed on them. That's half the race distance. So is he trying to stretch this medium tire stint to go on to the soft tires at the end of the race?
It's a little bit hard. You need to get at least lap 15 or 16, I think, to get that. But depends also the other guys what they're gonna do now, because seeing that BP is on 6 laps of mediums, so definitely he's going for the soft tires. He's gonna be faster. But what is Weirdo going to do now, because he's on the medium tire, so he's gonna lose a little bit of a position as well.
Yeah, Weirdo of course doesn't have to stop again now, but as you said, if BP and Plaz will switch to the soft tires at the end of the race, he will be at a disadvantage, as we see Joseph Lai move past Toddy Rumble for P7 and move completed
well before. Not so much of
before.
racing as well between these drivers.
Yeah.
All the drivers that are competing against each other is Toddy Rumble. Now he picks a 3-second penalty as well, which he's fighting to overtake Joseph and I, but it's not that easy.
No, being just overtaken and being on 8 lap older tires will be a struggle to keep up with him now. But yeah, you said
Joseph and I is really not comfortable on those tires. He's locking too much.
Yeah, maybe pushing on a bit too much to make up for that lost time, serving that drive-through penalty.
Now the question is, Toddy Rumble, can he end up on those 10 laps hards with being around 20 laps of hards? 21 actually. Or he's going to change his strategy?
Well, doing another 11 laps on those hards will be a very hard task for Toddy, as he locks up going into turn 15. So yeah, might be a good shout to get off those tires towards the end of the race. But yeah, already being towards the back of the field might not make too much of a difference.
As you can see, the weather, it shouldn't change because it's a clear blue skies, a little bit of clouds, but also in this track it's really common to have the rain, so we will see what happens during the last almost 10 laps, 11 laps that we have. But you can see that Toddy Rumble now is losing a lot of time from Joseph Eli, already 3 seconds ahead for Joseph Eli to Rumble, but right now Toddy, I think he needs to figure out what his start is going to be. Is he going to fight for that top 5, or is he going to fight for the best top 10 position? Because as you can see, we have Kobel and Carson that can reach him out very quick as well.
Yeah, Carson already
really quick.
Yeah, already within 1 second. As Joseph picks up another 3-second time penalty. But yeah, the field spread out quite a bit. As you said earlier, now the only battle on track going on really is the battle for P7 we're watching right now. As we see Weirdo put in the fastest lap of the race, not a surprise, being on those fresh medium tires.
This sector, cars lost 1 second from the other lap. So he's losing a lot of time against the Rumble. Now it's the time to overtake him. He have a little bit also of overtake, but he's going to overtake him with that DRS advantage as well because he's on a faster tire, the medium. And I think Tony Rumble now he needs to change those tires to soft tires. But Plebs, it's a good situation that he have now 10 laps remaining for this race, and he's still with those medium tires. And in fact, I think now he better make the switch because he's already losing 5 seconds in these 3 laps that we had seen right now, because he was around 8 seconds if I'm not mistaken, and now he's around 4.6 seconds behind Plebs. So yeah, BP I think he's in a good chance also to win this race.
Yeah, it will be close towards the end. Of course, BP catching him. As speaking of the Haas driver, he will make his second stop now. So putting even more pressure on Plebs, going for the undercut here. As BP will probably, as you said, switch to the soft tires. No, it's the yellow on medium tires. So that's interesting. As we have a yellow flag in sector 2, and that's Carson spinning at the exit of the castle section. And yeah, a lot of that front wing.
He already spun in that S turn, and he was losing a lot of grip. But now Carson, I think it's a little bit also of a challenge to overtake at least 6th position, because I think Toddy now is going to enter the pits also.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the drivers will opt to do in those last 10 laps. As BP now some 21 seconds behind Plebs, but he will quickly get that gap down on those fresh medium tires. So we'll follow Plebs around as he ends the second sector right now to see if he will react to BP stopping. And we see already
1.5 seconds. He lost 1.5 seconds in the second sector alone.
Yeah.
Plebs.
BP already gaining a second in just a couple of corners.
Doesn't seem that he's going into the pits.
No, he stays out for another lap.
Another lap. That's
As we
crucial,
see,
because if Plebs had those softs now, he would have won the race. But now BP is going to be in his 17-second mark when he enters the race.
Yeah, BP will gain even more time in the coming 6 kilometers. So yeah, it will be interesting to see once Plebs pits if he's able to stay in first place or not. But yeah, of course, maybe he's thinking, if I go into the softs, I'll be able to overtake BP even if I get out behind him. But yeah, taking a risk, of course, having to overtake another car for the lead, not being easy.
So Justin Cramp also doing another pit stop, second pit stop, and he's on a fresh soft tire, going far for those last 6 laps, 8 laps, sorry. And I think also Cramp is going to try to get a little bit closer to Weirdo and BP, but definitely right now the race, or our questions is Plebs, how far is going to go with those mediums, because right now, as you can see, sector 2, he lost 1.2 seconds again. So
yeah, that is on his own delta.
And AI overtakes Plebs because he's really slow on those tires. Now he's going to the pits.
Yeah, BP now only 17 seconds behind him, gaining almost 3 seconds in the last lap. Now, will this extra lap on the medium tires have cost Plebs a chance to pit from the lead into the lead? We will see as he makes his way into the pit box, and as expected, red tires onto that Red Bull. BP now coming along the back straight, or the main straight. Plebs coming out of the pits, and yeah, BP will be ahead of him.
But he have DRS.
He is already very close, and within a second of the Haas driver.
Let's not forget that the soft tires here are faster, around 2 seconds each lap. So this is going to be also a crucial job for BP to try to manage those tires well, by also trying to defend his position from Plebs, because definitely Plebs right now is in a better situation to win this race and also to gain. And you need to also really not waste that overtake and ERS effect, because if you waste an overtake in the straight, you need to defend a lot, because now he's going to have DRS and it's going to be so easy to catch up for him.
Yeah, will be quite some achievement if Plebs does manage to overtake BP and win the race after starting from 12th place, failing to set a time in qualifying, but making up for it big time in the race, as he is right on the back of the Haas driver, and he will have a total of 7 attempts along this more than 1 mile long back straight to overtake the Haas driver and take the lead back.
He's already using his overtake, ERS, but now he's going to have DRS position. He doesn't need any DRS in fact, because he was really fast on those tires. But also Plebs needs to manage those tires well, so at least BP won't catch him up at the end of 2 laps.
Yeah, of course those softs will go off quicker than the mediums on BP's car, so as you said, BP just needs to stay focused, as Cramp puts in the fastest lap of the race so far. Now closing in a bit on Weirdo in P3. As we also have a battle going on for P5 right now, as Joseph Lai is caught up to the back of Diano. Joseph Lai, of course, carrying 6 seconds worth of penalties. So if he manages to overtake Diano, he'll have to pull out 1 second a lap to be able to stay in P5 once the checkered flag has fallen. But right now,
using a lot of his ERS, and in fact Diano also is on a pressure medium tire, so I think the situation right now for Joseph Lai, if he doesn't overtake him in the next 2 laps, he's going to suffer a lot of seconds then in the tire degradation, definitely.
yeah. As Tolly Rumble has made that second stop we were talking about earlier, maybe a bit too late now, but he comes out in P8, some 4 seconds behind the Williams of Cobalt, so still some opportunities for him to gain some places, as he will be now one of the fastest cars on track, as Plebs has really put those soft tires to good use, putting in the fastest lap of the race and already pulling out a 2.5 second lead on BP, as we have a yellow flag in sector 1, and that's for Junguman, who's gone off at the runoff in turn 3, I think. He still has his front wing, so I just think he has locked up and gone off onto the runoff area.
He's the slowest from all the drivers this run. I think he doesn't have a good strategy. He's losing a lot of power in those corners. You need to be really aware on how to take these corners, because if you don't take them well, you will have a penalty. In fact, he doesn't have any good balance of the setup, and the setup is the most important thing around this track. As you can see also Dr. Rumble, he's reaching out on, I think it's a Ghost. Guy in front of him? Or maybe, no, Cobalt. No? Lap 7.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
He's in position 7, so he's, yes, he's fighting against Cobalt. That's right now he's around half a second faster. But definitely now, Tolly Rumble, he's in a better also tires, soft tires. Switch on to DRS, and he overtakes also the guy in front of him and he takes 7th position. But right now he needs to really manage those tires because he's using a lot of tire wear.
Yeah. But having caught up 4 seconds in just 1 lap, I think he'll be able to pull out a large enough gap, as there is a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that was for Jungelman again, as he has now been lapped by our race leader. Just a couple of laps to go. Plebs seems to be maintaining a steady gap to BP. Now,
really good pace, already 2.5 seconds ahead.
Just has to make sure it doesn't pick up any penalties. Could you maybe check if the drivers who don't have any penalties yet have any warnings?
So it seems that director Diano, we have 2 warnings. He have another warning, so he really needs to be aware of those warnings.
What about our front 3?
BP, he have 2 warnings.
Ooh.
Weirdo, he have 2 warnings as well, so they need to be really... I think right now Diano he took another warning. So these top 3 for BP, it's a little bit of a tricky situation right now, and Plebs, he doesn't have any warnings at all.
Wow, that's really impressive. Keeping it as clean as he possibly can and putting in an impressive drive here today to come from P12 on the grid to now be leading the race with just 4 laps to go. 4.3 seconds now ahead of BP. Weirdo still in P3. Cramp did gain on him in the initial phase of his soft tire stint, but now the gap seems to have steadied out a bit. 4.5 seconds behind the Haas driver, and also of course carrying a 3 second time penalty. So Cramp winning in Bahrain now looks like he'll be off the podium today.
Looks like it, and he also has a 3-second penalty, which doesn't really affect him because he's really ahead of the other guy behind. Sorry, Joseph Eli have 6 seconds of penalties. Right now, also the situation is that if Joseph Eli continues like this, he will be around 6th position, I think, because right now Diano he doesn't have any penalties.
Yeah, Diano still within 2.5 seconds of Joseph Lai, and Toddy in P7 a good 30 seconds behind his teammates. So as we see Cobalt Redemption make a late stop for the soft tires, maybe trying to get that fastest lap and get an extra point on the board for Williams, as he will still be in P9, but he will come out just ahead of the race leader. That was really close. But luckily he ghosts and Plebs can make his way along the straight between turn 2 and turn 3. I was a bit worried there that Cobalt would damage the front wing of Plebs coming out of the pits, but luckily all went well. We of course don't want the back marker to ruin a leader's race at such a late stage of the race.
We need to say also that BP is now 5.5 seconds away from Plebs, so this is a dominating win also by Plebs. Very good strategy. I think this is not the best driver, but the best strategy one.
Yeah, impressive to get those mediums to, what was it, lap 17 or lap 18?
Lap 17, and he really put them far, but he was losing a lot of time. I thought that he's not going to do it because he took another lap, but yeah, he did it, and he did it in a really good manner and really good strategy as well by this guy from the Red Bull. I don't know what position he placed last race, but definitely it's a good comeback.
Yeah, he finished second, just behind Cramp in Bahrain. and now being in the lead of this race, he will take over the lead of the Drivers' Championship once he crosses the line on lap 26, with Cramp still down in P4, not seeming to be able to catch up to Weirdo in P3. So yeah,
he's gaining. Weirdo is gaining, but definitely he's a little bit more away than PP, even if he takes a penalty.
yeah. Field spread out quite a bit now. Oh, that's interesting. He does of course have 25 seconds behind him, so he does have the gap. Switches to another set of softs. And he'll try to get the fastest lap as well. So
in fact, Cramp, he didn't use any ERS, so now he's going to try to do the last lap of the race to get that fastest lap. So definitely it's a good also call by Cramp to get those new softs, and also I think he really doesn't have any fuel left, so it's gonna be a tricky situation if he does it or no.
yeah, he seems to be okay on fuel for now. No indication of the icon on the telemetry there for Cramp, but yeah, of course, having the gap behind late pit stop is the logical thing to do, trying to pick up the fastest lap of the race, and there's an extra point that will still see him lose the championship lead, but at least he'll be able to gain some points back on Pless, who will now be starting the final lap of the race. So just 6 more kilometers to go for our Red Bull driver, and he'll be a first-time URL race winner. He's done it in a really impressive way.
Right now I'm gonna follow also Cramp, because he's going to start as the ultimate lap, which definitely he's gonna try to go for that fast. He's using overtake already. I don't know why he's using overtake already, because he have around 60%. In fact, he notices that he wastes a little bit of ERS, but right now he's going for it. Cramp is really going fast. Let's see if the first sector is going to be the fastest sector. There's a limit of how much ERS can they use.
Yeah, of course you have to keep that in mind as well, to keep enough ERS in reserve for that long back straight, as BP now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Really game over for him now. But he will stay in second place. It will be a second podium of the season, as he finished P3 behind Plevs as well in Bahrain. So guys finishing P2, P3 in Bahrain will finish P1, P2 here in Baku, as Plevs just has a little bit more of the straight to go. He'll cross the line and he'll win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Plevs from 12th on the grid takes P1. BP will finish in P2, with Weirdo completing the podium. Double podium for Haas F1 team. And
so what's the fastest lap right now?
just let me see, it's a 1:40.0.
So right now I think Cramp is going to manage. No, he lost power. Let's see if he's gonna take it. Yes!
Oh, he just
takes
about.
the fastest lap. He takes it with 0.032. That's really fascinating by Cramp, because
that was a close
he used
one.
too much overtake and he lost all his power in the last straight. But definitely he was running really risky around the track.
So Cramp picks up the fastest lap, and P4 Joseph Lai manages to stay ahead of Diano despite his 6 seconds worth of penalties. Diano just misses out by 1 second. Diano in P6, as we will now follow Toddy. He'll finish in P7. Another decent showing for the McLaren boys. Of course 5th and 6th in Bahrain, now 6th and 7th here in Baku. Some decent points again for this team, as Cobalt and Zungelman already finished being lapped, so we'll just wait for Carson to cross the line, and then that will be it.
This was a very good race by Plebs. Definitely he deserved all the win, but also it's a good strategy by Krem to try to take that 1 point from Plebs, because it was his fastest step before, and yes, he managed. But of course we can't mention any other driver of the day. He started in 12th position.
Yeah.
He took the lead with that amazing strategy of 17 laps on those medium tires. Definitely, he deserves the champagne right now.
Yeah, there he is. P1 for the Red Bull driver.
What a good race we had. Of course, I joined a little bit later than it was supposed to be, but definitely it was a little bit of also a misunderstanding between what time we're going to start the race, because of the Formula 1 that was going to happen. I think now it's going to start the qualifying at around 2 o'clock. So yeah, I think it was a good race for all the drivers. We had a little bit of also incidents between some drivers, but I think from all the drivers are really satisfied with their position right now.
Yeah, so Plebs wins in front of BP and Weirdo. Cramp in P4 with Joseph Lai after starting on pole, falling down to 5th place ahead of Diano and Toddy for McLaren. Carson and Cobalt for both Williams, P8 and P9, and Jungerman picks up the last point in P10 as Shush, BJ and Ashley fail to reach the finish. So yeah, qualifying will start in just 15 minutes, so I think we managed that pretty well. Thank you all for watching, and hope to see you next week when we will not travel to Zandvoort as all other divisions will do, but we will be racing at the home track for many of these drivers at Melbourne, Australia. So hope to see you all next week. Thank you, co-commentator, for helping me out for the main part of this race, and yeah, hope to see you all next week.
Bye bye, and